Sure.
I think there is. Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Okay, be prepared. Let me know when it's almost 2 hours and I can stop. I'm just joking. Okay. Hi, everybody. I am an alcoholic. I am truly an alcoholic. हमें जो बोलते हैं ना हम असली 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 शराबी हो. And it is entirely, absolutely, I say it with, I can't tell you how much. It is only by God's grace. And that I help and the help I receive from all you people. I haven't had that first drink today. I can't emphasize how much it is by God's grace. Because I was a type of a person who was so stubborn, defiant, vindictive that I didn't know till quite some time that my wife had already gone into Al-Anon. And I used to see her on certain days going to, I said, where are you going? I'm going to church. And then I realized that my wife had gone into Al-Anon. And I found that after some time, that she wasn't nagging me very so much. Oh, you're drinking too much, or you're doing this. I used to wonder why she's not concerned anymore. Because if she had to tell me that she's in Al-Anon, she had to tell me to go to alcohol, I would have definitely not come to Alcoholics Anonymous. But God, in His infinite, by His infinite grace, infinite mercy, how He guided my footsteps into alcohol, that alone tells me that, my God, it is only by God's grace that I'm sober. Imagine passing by a church where they have AA under the influence of alcohol. I had already drunk about a bottle and then passing by and then being invited to, hey, alcoholic, come across, hey, alcoholic. Somebody shouting out and I say, me. And they said, yes. And I go across. I thought I'm being invited to an alcoholic party. That's what I never knew what AA was. So I said, thank God. I had put my hands in my pocket, not a single penny in my pocket. And I go into my, unknowingly, I go into my first AA meeting and never to drink again. And today makes it, and now I'm almost 42 years plus without a drink. Now, what can you say to that? A man who didn't know what AA stood for. A man who drank from 5 o'clock in the morning to get over the shakes and the cravings. He didn't know that he had a problem with alcohol. And suddenly he lands up in AA, thinking that he's invited to an AA party, and then never to drink again till now, and never to drink even up to now. Is that what you can call that? It's nothing but a miracle. It is truly God's grace. How could I have landed there? If anybody had to tell me I was such a stubborn person, stubborn as a mule, then I would never have gone. But God knows exactly what to do with each one. How God knows how to work things out. And it just happened that way. Now I won't go much into my drunk along because most of y'all know that I am a chronic alcoholic. I I drank from 5:30 in the morning till I passed out, and that uh, my life was totally unmanageable. Some people had asked me, at least about more than 3 people asked me, Tom, how did you have your first drink, and why you took your first drink? What made you take? I was not comfortable to mention it all these whiles, but it's a very decisive. It's a genuine question. I have to look around to see. Yeah, nobody's around. See, when I was growing up, most of my life, I was growing up with guys much older than me, 4, 5 years older than me, and I used to see them always wanting, where are you going? Oh, we are going to a joint. Going to a joint for what? Oh, you're too small. You won't know that. And eventually I found out that they were going to these, red light areas. And I said, holy shit. I said, that's one thing I want to do, but these guys were always shunning me. And one of the guys, I told him, I said, this is what's happening, and I want to go. He says, no, you're not even you're not aged to go there. And one person told me, Tom, if you take this thing, this thing is called rum. If you take this, half a pint of this, then you'll be able to go there. And I said, yeah. He says, yeah. Now, why were they telling me that? Why was I hesitating? They said, if you have this, you'll be able to get the courage to go there. He said, will you have the courage to go there without? I said, no. My parents, they were very, very staunch Roman Catholics. And we were always brought up that these are the bad things in life and these are the good things in life, blah, blah, blah. And I was the type of guy who always wanted to know why. Why is it bad? Why is it bad? Why is it bad? I always I was a rebel, So I told these guys, no, I'll come with you on one day. And I think I bought one pint of rum and I had 3/4 of it. And I felt so good that I said, if you don't take me, if I'm not coming with you, I'll find my way and I'm coming over there. And I remember I went to the red light area and I got hooked on it. So basically, I got hooked on sex addiction rather than alcohol addiction first, majorly. But then I realized that this going there, having that brown liquid, which is called rum, I said, that's what did the trick. Otherwise, I would never have been able to go on my own without having alcohol. Because the teachings that I was brought up with and the way my mother used to keep on saying, these are bad things, these are good things, these are bad things, these are good things. And it was so much ingrained into me that I didn't. And what happened was that I got addicted to both the bloody things. And when I say addiction, I mean it in a very, very in-depth way. It's very deep. I was hooked onto this. Now what happened? Then I see people smoking and this. I got into smoking. Oh, smoking is bad. My mother used to say, bring cancer, you can get this, you can do that, don't never, but oh, there, my son, this, that, no. And those things just keep. But somehow or other, I got hooked onto that. I was smoking about 84 cigarettes a day. And in life, I always wanted materialistic things. And they told me, these materialistic things you can get only when you have money. Money buys it all. So I thought the easiest way to make money is in gambling. So I got hooked into gambling to achieve these materialistic things. I got very badly hooked into gambling. I started gambling in casinos, in billiard casinos, pool room. I used to be a hustler, hustling people, go into these big hotels, grand hotel, great, pretend to play with my left hand, and then I used to tell guys, take a bet, and they used to see me with my left hand wasn't so good. And they took the bets, and I used to make good money. So I got hooked onto gambling. So I said, what I'm trying to say here is, see how fast, in a matter of about 5 years, I got hooked into all these things. You can imagine my life, what it was like. Of course, I wasn't married that time. I got hooked and it became very, very unmanageable in my life. Another thing with me was there are different types of alcoholics. There are alcoholics who drink and become very emotional. Oh, they start crying and this, that. Then there are other type of alcoholics who drink and have a good time, get to try, and then they forget about it the next day. They are heavy drinkers. Like there are other alcoholics who drink and then they start getting into arguments and fights and beating up their wives, this, that, no, beating up their family members. I was none of these. I was the alcoholic who drank, who became very boisterous. But I wouldn't go physically and catch people. But I used to tell people before, look, I'm getting very, very upset. If you carry on doing this, I'll beat you up. I was an alcoholic, the type that got into a big time arguments. And if I didn't get my way, I would call them up and tell them, let's have it out. So you see, I was that type of an alcoholic. But I was not the alcoholic whoever raised my hand on my wife, whoever raised my hand on any family members. Other than that, if anybody had to say anything about my family, little the slightest thing, I would jump up and get into a fisticuff with them. And that was my life. I used to go to parties. If I didn't get my way, I used to tell them, look, I'm going to beat you up. And I have to mention over here that I wasn't a bully. I cannot be termed as a bully because I took on many people, much bigger made than me, stronger than me. But what actually happened was alcohol gave me such bloody false courage that I could stand up to anybody. I did even stupid things, what alcohol made me do. So I found that this alcohol is making me do such beautiful things, wonderful things. I said, this is something that nobody ever told me. They were hiding this from me. But now I know the secret. I said, alcohol is the missing link in my life. This is my everything in life is going to be alcohol. This is what's going to make me what I want to be. And I got very badly hooked onto alcohol till I started drinking, even early in the mornings till I pass out, blah, blah, blah. Then I said, how to make money other than gambling. I was quite a decent hockey player, and I said, let me practice a little bit and try and get into divisional hockey, first division hockey. I practiced and did this and that, and I came to quite a decent standard. And I was playing against Balbir Singh, Gurbakh Singh, Pyara Singh, Joginder Singh, all these Imamur Rahman, all these good hockey players that were representing big clubs and also playing for India. And I made it good. The newspapers had written me up, Statesman, Amrita Bazaar Patrika, Hindustan Standard, all had written me up as an upcoming centre forward. Great, will go very far, this, that, and all. This all the more encouraged me that, oh my God, alcohol is the greatest thing in life. Alcohol has to be my everything or nothing. It had to be. And I got pulled into this and I was totally addicted to that. If when the postman knocked at the door, when I was this now going ahead, postman knocked at the door, I used to go run, have a half a pint, and then answer the door. I had to use alcohol for everything. I became so addicted to it. And I think I must have been about 22 years into drinking when I could feel, 22 or 24 years, I can't remember the exact date, that, this is becoming a little bit of a problem now. Now, what happened was I started playing. I managed to get a job. I managed to get a retainership in Rajasthan club, first division hockey. And one of the guys that recruited me his name was Harlalka. I think he was a Marwari from the Rajasthan club. And I started playing. I started making the newspaper hat trick, this, that, getting a hat trick, getting another hat trick. And it was going good. And I started, visiting all these big Grand Hotel, Great Eastern Hotel, all the big restaurants in Park Street and drinking all this name brand stuff and taking one or two guys with me, paying for them because money was now flowing. Then I got another job as a bar manager at the Royal Calcutta Turf Club. It's a very prestigious club in Calcutta. And I was serving, and I was the manager for that bar, the stewards bar. The stewards were the people who controlled the full club. There was the Maharaja of Burdwan, there was the Maharaja of Kuch Bihar, Kumar V.C. Lal of Nazarganj, and all the top people. And I with my yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir. They took such a fancy to me, and I was really, every time a horse won or they won somebody, D'Souza, have a scotch on me. D'Souza, have a scotch on me. In one race day, I was getting about 5, 6 scotch whiskies put in my name. Have it on me. What I used to do by now, then they offered me another job, interstate racing. We have on Sundays. And then it went to 3 interstate racing days on Sunday, Thursday, some other day, and then Calcutta races on Saturdays. And I was the type of person that I could make anybody like me. All I had to do, oil and grease them, kiss ass, and everybody, Tom, very good, Tom, very good. Yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir. I was that type of a guy. So I knew how to, I was a tremendous actor. I used to get these drinks at the Calcutta at the Calcutta races on the Saturday. I used to get about 5 free drinks of scotch. I wouldn't drink it because by that time I was drinking very country liquor. Country liquor would give me a good motion, and it used to do the same or even sometimes better effect than the Scotch whiskey. So I used to take the Scotch whiskies, which I used to get from the Calcutta, and I used to take it down to the interstate racing, and I used to resell it. Because of the interstate, there were the stand members, and not all those. And I knew who the stand member. I knew who was the Calcutta RCTC members were. I used to sell it to them, like tell the barman, give this, and I used to take the money because that is a cash bar. So I'm making about sometimes 400, 500 apart from my salary, which was also very good. I was making in a day at the race course, and I was living it up. And money was flowing, and this, that, and I became a really hardcore alcoholic. And now, with all my other addictions, I was like I was a total hero. People used to refer to me, "Hey, Baap, ye bada hero aa gaya, hero aa gaya." And this ego inflation would do so much. I said, all the more I used to drink more. And then came the slide down. From the hero that the people referred to me as, I became a bloody zero. Slowly, 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 alcohol progressed so much in my life, and it was doing slowly, slowly the damage, and it really brought me to my knees. I went to a doctor. The doctor, after seeing my reports, he says, "Do you want to hear the truth?" I said, "Yeah, tell me the truth." And I knew, inwardly, I knew that I'm not well, but my fears were not allowing me to admit that I have a problem. And I said, "Yes, tell me the truth." He says, "I don't think you could live more than 3 months. The reports tell me that it's much less than 3 months, but I'm telling you 3 months. But take another month from my side. You cannot last more than 4 months." And I was at that time, I was 36 or 37 years old. Oh my God. When a doctor tells you that, and being an alcoholic whose life was totally riddled with fears as it is, being told this, you can imagine what happened to me. I started drinking all the more. And now my real bad days started coming. And I started going to the calendar and striking out each date. 21 days left. 50 came up 13 days. And I started wondering what is happening to me. I was a person that never ever thought of committing suicide or never ever thought of dying. I thought I wanted to live forever. That was my thing. I don't know, weird thinking I had. My thinking was totally warped. I said, I'm not going to live. I've only got 13 more days to live. Like 13 days or something like that. and my life was getting there. And my fears are getting more and more. I'm saying, hey, I don't want to die, but I'm going to be dead in another 13 days. Because this doctor, the way he explained it to me, and he was a big doctor. I said, but I don't want to die. And this conflict was going on in my head. What to do, what to do, what to do. I can't stop and I can't control, like how people have controlled drinking. I cannot do that. I tried literally thousands of times. I tried it before coming to AA. I didn't know what about AA. So before that, I told myself, I want to drink like a normal drinker. But I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And it's getting worse and worse. Till one day, what happened was, I was awake. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was a firm believer that macho men, macho guys don't cry. Macho people don't do this. And something happened. I started crying and crying and crying very badly at that time. I looked around. I saw my wife was fast asleep. My 2 boys, I had 2 sons. They were fast asleep. I said, oh my God. I said, if there is a God, please help me. I truly don't want to die, but I don't know what to do. My friend, that was a surrender that came from the core of my being. I don't want to die, and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to stop. Help me if there is a God. Help me, I beg of you. Help, help. I want to tell you the miracle happened there and then, but it didn't. I think it went on for about a month. And then people started saying, go to this person, they can cure you. You know, they cured so many alcoholics. He's a Molby guy. He's a Molby from Collins Street. You know, he would pray over you and you'll get okay. I went there. My drinking became worse. Some people, why you went to the Molby? You should have gone to the Hindu Pandit, Sanskrit Pandit. He stays in Bhavanipur. You go there, he'll pray over you and you'll. I said, no. In the meantime, the Molby Pandit asked me, Chanda de dena. I said, kitna chanda dene ka hai? How much donation? He says, give 150 or 200, something. He told me, I gave it. He said, abhi sab kuch theek ho jayega. कुछ नहीं ठीक हो गया कुछ नहीं ठीक हुआ हमारा पीने और बढ़ गया my drinking started becoming more and more and more. Well, this time now, one job I lose, one of my jobs, a hockey job. They told me, no, we don't require your services anymore. You know, your game has gone down a lot. So that money went. Then the band, and then by now I'm playing in the band also. I learned how to play the sax, and I was playing in the band in a French restaurant, Moulin Rouge, dinner session 3 times a week. That job goes. They said, we don't require your services. You're faltering very often. That job. I'm left with only the Royal Calcutta Turf Club job and the job that I have, my permanent job from start to finish, the job as a chief librarian at the British Institute. I have that job. And now things are getting bad. And then somebody comes, I went to go to the Hindu Pandit. The Hindu Pandit, Sare Baba, aaj, kya hua? Hamara bahut zyada sarab pita hai. Oh, don't worry, you're drinking too much. I said, yes, yes. Okay, I will make it okay. No time. Everything will become okay. I don't know what he went and put some water, sprinkled some water on my head. He took one rose, I think, and with the petals, he rubbed it on my forehead. Go, now everything has become okay. You'll never want to touch another drink again. I said, okay, thank you. I said, I have to give it. Yes, yes, you have to give $200. You have to give as a donation. I said, oh my God, okay. Give the $200, 200 rupees. And as it was, this or nothing worked. As a matter of fact, it's getting worse and worse and worse. So I said, none of all that crap. This money is going on donation. I could have already carried this money for so much longer with my booze. But it didn't happen that way. I gave a last and foremost one one of my friends told me he was a police officer. His father was a police officer, and he was also well known in the police. He came. He said, Tom, I believe you having a drinking problem. I said, yeah, man, Ron, what to tell you. I said, I've been to that Molvi Sahib in Collins Street. I went to the Hindu Pandit there. Nothing happened. It's getting worse. He said, what, man, you're a Catholic. Why you went to the Molvi? Why you went to the Hindu Pandit? You should have come to me. I'd have taken you to Mother Teresa, and Mother Teresa will pray over you and you'll become okay. I said, look, stop all this shit, Ron. I don't want any more. I said, they've taken my bloody money. And by that, this time, every dollar, every rupees was a big thing to me because they're taking 200. I said, no, I'm not. He called the cab. He come with me. Called the cab, pushed me in the car, and took me to Mother Teresa. Went to Mother Teresa. What do you want? Young man, I said, Mother, I drink a lot and, I can't stop. Oh, he says, I cannot work the magic for you. I'm not magician. I am not a magician. But I can tell you what to do. You go to the St. Mary's Church. You know St. Mary's Church? I said, yes, I know St. Mary's. By now, I'm feeling like giving her one bloody rap because she's rejecting me. I asked her for a favor to pray over me, and she's telling me, go here, go there. But then this guy, ironic, caught my hand and pulled it, shut up, you bloody fool. Because I couldn't care. I didn't know who I'm talking to. I wanted, like that type of rage I came into. And I said, I'm going. I walked away. But go to the AA, maybe AA can help you. But I told you, I don't know what AA stands for. You know the St. Mary's Church? I said, yeah, I know St. Mary's Church. Go there. And they have AA, and the AA will be able to help you. But I took it for body and let it out from the other ear. And I'm now getting ready to die. Literally getting ready to die. My condition is becoming so bad. My unmanageability is absolutely at breaking point. And I'm saying, what to do now? And that's when I told you the episode, I told you the story how when I was walking through this past this church, these people call me and I go up to AA and I go to AA never to drink again. Now I'll tell you what are the things that helped me immensely in my life. They may sound simple to you, but it helped me. And this is what I really want to talk about because I loved this Manglor meeting because of the newcomers. Oh my God. I loved it from the day one that I went to a Manglor meeting. Some of the people that I had high regards for, they're no longer at that meeting nowadays. They no longer come that often. But this is the place where my full real growth took place. They started having these topic meetings and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, he says, alcohol is but a symptom. My main problem is my thinking. My main solution is how I'm living. And that's when the whole life started changing. So you can see that for about 30 years, I was just a dry drunk because we were only a handful of us. Tony, myself, Ronnie Fernandez, a few others, two Roberts, and Morris, and one priest who left the priesthood and who was an alcoholic. And there was just a few of us. We were making mistakes after mistakes. But, genuine mistakes, we didn't know we were doing wrong. We never had a big book. We only had one book we used to share with so many people. And there we used to talk every day after a meeting. We would have a side discussion, another meeting. One of the things I was told quite often was, Tom, if you want to remain sober, how do you like AA? I said, I love this place, man. I love AA. So what do you love in AA? I said, I love AA. There are lovely stories that they come out with, and I was a librarian and the books that I used to read were all biographies and autobiographies. I love the stories. Okay. He says, but the stories are not going to keep you sober very long. The only thing, do you want sobriety continuously? I said, oh God, of course, I'd love it. I'd love to be like this all my life. And I think I can't remember exactly how many years. It was about 4 years or 3 years or 4 years sober, away from alcohol. He says, you have to do the steps. Holy shit. I used to hear the steps being read out at the meeting, and I used to say, how the hell can I, a person like me, do the steps? I am so mortally afraid of it. What are you afraid of? I said, I'm afraid of. I said, I can do the first step, I can do the second step. How could I turn my will and my life over to the care of God, make a decision to decide to turn my. I said, I can't do that. I'm padding accounts at office, and I'm doing it in quite a big way. If I turn my will and my life, how am I going to do that? How come I'm going to take step 3? Blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about that. We'll do that when the time comes. No, but I am a doubter, and my name is Thomas. I'm a doubting Thomas. And that created havoc. Then that, fourth step, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of yourself. How could I do that? I want people to like me. How could I tell people who I am and what all I did and not what all I did, what type of things I had led, what type of life I was leading? How could I tell another person? They will have a total different opinion of me. It's a storm. It will happen slowly, slowly. Keep having, just fake it till you make it. I said, oh my God, that's the only chance I have faking it. But I know deep down in my heart that faking is not correct. Tom, do it. And people said, get a sponsor. I said, I can't get a sponsor. And what do I have to do with the sponsor? You'd have to tell him your life story and a little bit of character defects and shortcoming. But it says, made a searching and fearless more. How could I do that? I'm going to take all this with me to my grave. I'm not going to tell anybody. They'll have such a bad opinion of me. They'll think so badly of me. So somehow or the other, these people kept. No, what happened was one guy came up to me. He was about a little longer than sober than me, about 3 months or 2 months sober, longer than us. And he says, Tom, have you got a sponsor? I said, no. I said, that's what I'm fearing. I said, because they're saying this, that. He says, Tom, I will be your sponsor, and I want you to be my sponsor. I said, how can I sponsor you? I'm only so many years sober. He says, yes, you can sober me. You can be my sponsor. And he says, all you have to do is listen to my venting. I'll just keep on telling you my story. You listen to me. I said, okay. By then I have got a sponsor, and he told me about his life. And when he told me about his life, oh my God, that was the greatest blessing in my life. I said, oh my God. Then I opened up about myself. I was managed to get to step 3. He told me, Tom, you start doing it slowly, slowly. You won't have to do the padding of accounts, this, that, know what you're doing. And it slowly, slowly, very slowly started working. And life became, I started opening up. What's his name? My spiritual advisor told me. He told me, Tom, he says, what I observe in you is that you have a sex problem. I said, who the bloody effing hell is this person to tell me that? Just because he was from the religious order, I didn't abuse him. But in my mind, I was filthily abusing him. Who the effing, maybe this, that is, to tell me that I got a sex problem. But I went and quickly told my sponsor. I said, what is this bloody priest? He was the priest for Mother Teresa who used to say her mass and all. I said, he's telling me this. Listen to that bastard. That's all bullshit. You come for your sobriety, you come, no. But after about 1 or 2 months, I realized what that priest told me, that spiritual advisor told me was true. I said, I do have a problem with that. He told me the truth. He said, Tom, I request you to please go to about 6 SA meetings, Sexaholics Anonymous meeting. With great difficulty, after about a month and a half, it's every night it used to play on my mind. I said, okay, let me listen to this spiritual advisor. He's telling me something. I went. My friends, I can't tell you, that is another great thing I did. I went and I identified so much. It was being held in a very, very secretive place in one of the posh places in Calcutta, in Alipur, Sunny Park. And I started getting a lot of help. That helped me immensely. He told me, Tom, share. And don't share about only your drunkalog. Share about what your life is like. I said, but I'll have to keep repeating myself over and over. That's okay, Tom. When you share what you do, you're helping yourself by repeating the same thing over and over again. I remember my father used to tell me, Tommy, I cannot hear you studying. I said, yeah, Dad, I'm studying. I can't hear you. Say it loud. Oh, C-A-T, cat, R-A-T, rat, M-A-T, mat, R-D-O-G, dog. Yes, now I can hear you. What basically was happening, that repetition is the mother of all successes. You keep repeating. One day you'll get okay. I wanted everything in a jiffy. I wanted everything yesterday. I thought today I work, tomorrow I'll get it. It's not like that. I went, my spiritual advisor told me, Tom, one of the greatest things in life is patience. Patience, that is why they say patience is the mother of all virtues. Why, Tom? Because that is very important. Be patient in everything you think, do, or say. And that made sense. That helped me immensely. They said, when you do the steps, see the first step. Now, I say, God, I'm powerless over alcohol. Now, what are we having a problem? I'm having a problem with my smoking. I'm having a problem with my gambling. Now, turn it over now that you're sober. I am powerless over my gambling. I'm powerless over my sexual problem. I'm powerless. Repeat it. I said, okay. I started repeating. I'm powerless over my smoking. I'm smoking 84 cigarettes, Charmina cigarettes a day, and I can't stop. And I can't bring it down. It's going, say that, repeat that. First step, I'm powerless over my smoking, and my life is getting unmanageable. I believe that you, a power greater than myself, can restore me back to sanity, because the smoking and drinking and gambling, I was all making my life absolutely unmanageable. But thank God, God took away the alcohol through the steps. I started working the steps on the addiction of drinking. Then I started using the steps on the addiction, and it was all like, one into another. And I started, oh my God, I'm powerless over smoking, I'm powerless over gambling, I'm powerless over this, I'm powerless. God, I believe that you can restore me sanity. God, I believe it. You restored my drinking. Now I want you to restore my thing. And what was happening? It was happening. I stopped smoking. And the people in A got shocked. Because we were about 11 members that day, 11, 12 members. Then they saw my gambling. That had stopped. Then they saw my addiction of sex. Came down to its bare minimum. And then slowly it went. And I myself was shocked at what are things happening. What happened, my friend, I think I'm coming close to what happened was my whole thinking changed. Remember I told you, I completely believed, wholeheartedly believed. I have complete faith and trust in alcohol for what it was doing to me. I turned it over to have that faith and trust in God, in the 12 steps. And I said, wow, fantastic. See, from where to where the about turn took place. That is why I keep saying, today, what happened? Today, I no longer have thing for alcohol, but God is my everything today. God is or God isn't. Just straight. No, God is. If God is, then do what God is guiding you to do. Have that faith and trust. Build that faith and trust in God. I said, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm trying to build that faith and trust in God. It's happening, but not to the, I slip up here and there now and then, but it's happening. Today, what is life like? I am free from all these addictions. We had about 11 members. 9 of them asked me to be their sponsors. I started helping whatever way I could. Not that I knew much that time, but I started talking AA. And there was a time when I was only, they said, Tom, how do you, I said, every waking thought, my thoughts and my life is totally obsessed with alcohol. Now, Tom, that is over. What is it? Make your life totally obsessed with the God of your understanding. He is the one who did everything. Is it right or wrong? I said, absolutely. Write down 10 things in your life where you almost died and how you got saved. And I wrote down and I saw. He says, who helped you, Tom? I said, God helped me. He helped in every. I wrote down about 8, 9, and I stopped. There was much more times than that I could have died. I'll mention 1 or 2 only so that you all know. I was at a party and I was always drunk. Of course, that I don't have to say. And I was dancing and this guy bumped into me once, twice. Actually, it wasn't him that bumped into me. It was me that bumped into him. And I was blaming him. They were in naval uniform, this guy and his girlfriend that he was dancing. I said, listen here, I told him, a well-built guy. I said, if you bump into me one more time, it wasn't him, it was me. And I was drunk, I was always drunk. I said, if you want to make something out of it, come to the tennis court. I'll work you out in such a way that you'll know who bumped who. And one of them came out. I went out. And I was drunk, mind you. I lashed him to such an extent. You give up, I give up, I give up. But this guy and his friend, another naval officer, they were from the Indian Navy. He says, we'll teach this bugger a good lesson. And they came to me, he says, hey, friend, let's be friends, and shook hands. And I said, oh, yeah. Why you keep going to the bar all the time and spending your money? We are naval officers. Why did you come with us? We'll take you to our ship and we'll take you over there. You can have a good drink. And the glut that I was a glut of alcohol. I never thought what they could think of or what they can do. I got in the cab. They took me to the ship and they had that rope, you climb on top a little bit. And I managed to do all that. So I couldn't have been all that drunk. They opened a bottle of Remy Martin brandy and they gave me to drink and they made me paralytic drunk. I could hold a good amount of alcohol. And they took me, I couldn't walk. I had to put one hand on one guy's shoulders, another hand over the other guy's shoulders. And it was about 2 o'clock, about 1 o'clock in the morning, winter day, cold winter day in Calcutta. It's very cold. Sometimes it's more colder there than in Canada. And they took me. I said, where are you taking me? We'll put you in a cab and all. And they knew the timing that the train comes at a certain time. 3 o'clock or 3 something it comes. They took my head, put it on the rail tracks. They took my legs, put it on the other side. And they left me. They waited with me till I was about half an hour left for the train to come, apparently. And they left me there. And the train would come and they'd run over me. My friend, I didn't know any better. I thought, maybe from the, cold and the steel of the rail track, that must have woken me up. About 15, 20 minutes before the train could come, somehow I managed. I got up. And I looked at the time. I said, holy shit, 3 something. And I staggered. And somehow they walked a few distance and I got a cab and I came home. I used to tell people I was so damn lucky. I was so this, so that. I told my father, he said, Tom, that wasn't luck. That wasn't coincidence. That was a God moment in your life. So how many moments did you have like that? And I explained to them. It's too long to explain another one. But my friend, that was what my life was. That's what God did for me. God loves us all, my friend. He loves every single one of us that is here in the meeting today. No matter how bad a life we led, He loves us. He forgives us. And He's always there to reach out to us. It's always, all we have to do is have a desire. Put one leg forward and He will put 10 legs, 10 steps ahead of you and He'll get you. And that's what I started doing. Today, I have some bad news, sad news, but I'm coping up with it. Many people are concerned why I don't come to the meetings, why am I not so active in the meetings. So I'm going through a bad phase, not with me, but it's my wife who's not too well. My wife, who did so much for me, I can't tell you, absolutely gave her life for me when I was in the other side of the street, when I was drinking. My friend, my aunt, who was living next door to us when we were married, she came and told my wife, Christine, give up this bastard. He's a gone case. He will never bloody change. He's a bloody gone case. You're a young girl. You still have your full life ahead of you. Leave him. I am his aunt. I'm telling you to leave him. He's a gone case. A leopard can never change its spots. My wife said, no, auntie, one day he'll become okay. She says, when is that bloody one day going to come? It'll never come. Don't live in a fool's paradise. It'll never happen. But if you want to show the world that you're a martyr, then go ahead and do it. And I heard my wife tell me, auntie, I took the vows very seriously when I got married. And my vow said, when I got married, you're taking him for better or for worse, for poverty or for riches, till the day you lie. She says, so, auntie, that is the vow that I took, and I intend to live by that. Imagine a wife who could stand up so much for you. My friend, my wife could have got anybody she wanted. She won the Miss May Queen ball. She won the June Rose beauty contest. She won a very prestigious, not a very, she didn't win it. She became first runners-up for the St. Xavier's College Miss Autumn Carnival. She could have got anybody. But by what all she stood by me and she lived by me. She helped me in my sobriety. She stuck by me thick or thin. Today, she's got a problem. The doctors diagnosed her the beginning stages of Alzheimer's. And that has upset me so badly. I can't tell you. Because I was one of those types that lived where the wife did everything for her husband. Of course, it's not that like that nowadays. I believe it's totally different. One guy told me, Tom, if I have a little argument with my wife is ready to divorce me. I said, oh shit, yeah? He says, yeah, it's no longer like the good old days. So that's what it is. And I'm having to get up 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning to help out in the house, which I never ever did. We had 4, 5 servants in Calcutta. I'm not trying to tell you that we are rich. My mother and father were so good to people that they used to come and volunteer to help out in our house. My mother used to pray for them. My father beat my mother more than 2, 3 times. Once my mother, fruit man came, phalwala, fruit man. And my mother said, hey, kaise hai? Baba, Mummy, please pray for my daughter. My daughter got married 2 years now. And the man she married, both sharab pita hai. He's an alcoholic man. Please pray for my daughter so that her life can be better. And that there's something happened. Okay, my mama, come. Tommy, you got a book? I said, what book? I want to write something. And she write on the book. Okay, pray for the fruit man's daughter's husband, that he get better. My mom would make novenas, pray. Like this, one man came with a very winter time, cold, with a gamcha on. Not gamcha and a little woolen thing. My mom said, Kya hai? He says, I'm shivering with the cold, mummy. You got any old clothes? My mother would go to my father's almirah. My father had about 30, 40 bloody coats. She'd take one out, give it to the beggar. Mama, you are bloody doing that, but daddy will come to know, he'll beat you up. She says, he won't notice when there's 40 coats, so I'm going to take one. This poor man is shivering. She would give it to that beggar. And I would tell, what the bloody hell you're doing? Daddy will, somehow or the other, you know what? My dad would come and notice it missing. And he said, Delphine, you took it? My mom would keep quiet. Delphine, you took it? She'd keep quiet. Crack, one slap on her face. Crack, one. those days, the husbands were ruling. That I lived like that. I lived in that kind of environment. So I was brought up that way, and I expected. Of course, I didn't raise my hands on my wife, but I expected a man to be in charge of the house. Woman did all the cleaning, and mind you, my wife had an extremely good job in Calcutta as well. She came to Canada. She was working with the government. Good job, but I expected her to do everything because my my father did that. I have to do that. So you can imagine what a life I was giving her. I expected, and now all that is taken away because she is very sick without thinking. I can't let her go to the stove in case she keeps the stove burning and there'll be a burn, house will get burned. So there's a lot of problem. But as I told you, keep relying on God, Tom. Keep hoping. And I'm getting more and more strength while turning it over to God. I'll be a liar if I say I'm not concerned. It bothers me very, very badly. Even if you're 30, 40 years, 50 years sober, it will bother you. And I'm trying to cope up. I'm trying to turn it over to God. Sometimes I get the nice feeling that it will be okay, it will get better, it won't get any worse. And that's where I am today. My friends, I think I've overshot the mark, but I am so grateful to the God of my understanding. From where to where He's brought me. And I'm extremely grateful to you people of Alcoholics Anonymous because it is you people, through your sharings, you have helped me to accept certain things, to do certain things, to do the steps, to do this. If it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for AA, I would have been gone a long time ago. But God knows best. And I just keep trying to build on that faith and trust that I want to have. Today, I'm verbalizing and saying it. God is my everything. God is nothing. God is or God isn't. And I'm trying to live on those lines. It is helpful in many, many respects. It's helped me. I'm waiting to see that when it's going to help me in the respect of my wife. I know what she did for me. And I have to accept and I have to do the things that I have to do for her now when it's my turn to do it. Thank you very much, everybody, for giving me a patient hearing. God bless you all.